Hi everyone! Look, my bookshelf is still organized. It is nice to have a pretty backdrop, even if the lighting may not be the best at the moment. Anyway, welcome to another studio vlog, and in today's video you will see some store prep. I'm working on some new pins. I also have some new products to show you, which you may already have seen, and I'm also gonna do some painting, so there will be a little bit of everything. So the past few weeks has been kind of turbulent to say the least. It was this whole thing going on with Sally, which some of you may already know, and I will tell you more about that later into the video. Anyway, I have a lot of things to work on, so let's do that. Alright, so I thought it was time to make some new pins, and I have a little different idea for these ones. I want to try to use glitter. We got both holographic and regular. So I did a little bit of testing right here, and this is what it looks like. I've tried some pink and midnight blue glitter. I mixed the glitter with some 3D lacquer and it seemed to work quite well, and also I will cover these with resin just to make them even more durable and protected and even more shiny. So my very first idea was to make some rainbow glitter pins, but also I have these stars in different colors, and maybe if I do something like this, I can make it look like a galaxy. I made the pins with a black background because I thought it might be better than having the raw wood showing through if the glitter isn't covering enough. Also, I'm imagining that the acrylic paint will be a little protective since the lacquer is water-based. I thought maybe the acrylic paint would be working sort of like a barrier between the raw wood and the lacquers, because wood doesn't work that well with water, even if the acrylic paint is water-based too, but it's mainly so that the wood won't show through the glitter. I haven't really tried this before, so it will be like a little test, but hopefully it will turn out great. Let's add some glitter. Alright, it is the next day and there is glitter everywhere that I'm not really looking forward dealing with. I stayed up pretty late last night and I finished all the glitter pins. Look how glittery. We got some rainbow ones and also some galaxy. Here are more of the galaxy. And the galaxy ones actually turned out better than I thought. They aren't all finished yet because I still need to add some resin to them so they will be nice and shiny and protected. And I also added some glitter to these guys, and these I will still have to add some more details to, but I think they look pretty good so far. They were already painted, so I thought I might as well do something with them, so I added some sparkly glitter. I think the galaxy ones, I'm gonna try to add some stars and see what that looks like. Also, I've been kind of debating with myself if I should add some more details to them. Maybe I should add a face, maybe outline the tail. Alright, so I have added a couple of stars and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I also really like it without the stars. It is also really hard to show this on camera because it is so shiny and the stars are shiny. So yeah, here you can better see it. It is pretty though. So I've drawn some little faces and the tail here in Procreate. I don't know if I like it better with the face or without. Also, one problem that I can think of with drawing the details is that the glue and glitter isn't perfectly smooth. It is very textured, so I'm not really sure if that will be good to draw on. Kitty is watching the magpies that are out on the lawn somewhere. Are there birdies? Yes, there is a birdie. Alright, so all the final details are now added. So we have these. I've added their little mouth and some cheeks to some and whiskers. These ones I've left as they are, and also I was a little indecisive if I wanted to add faces and tails to these ones. So just to experiment, I tried it on some of them and then I left some of them without any details, and I will just have to see which one that you guys prefer the most. So let me know what you think. Do you like it better with the face and the tail or without? Personally though, I think I like it better without, which was actually my initial plan with these, but you need to experiment and try different things to see what's working. So yeah, I'm gonna head out to the garage and add some resin to these. We got some new notepads. Yay, look at this. More notepads, notepads, notepads. Let's check them out. And again, if you are following me on social medias, you may already have seen them. Or if you've been to my shop, because they are available in my shop right now. We have this square one. I noticed that this design has a little bit of paper fuss or like cardboard fuss or whatever it is, but it seems like you can just scrape or wipe it off, so really not a big deal. But in case you would get one of these and they look a little dirty, it is just a little bit of fuss that you can clean right off. And I first thought that the cat would fill the whole notepad so that there wouldn't be any white borders, but I feel like a lot of the design would disappear since there is a cut line. So if the design is going all the way out to the edge, some part will be chopped off, like perhaps parts of the paws and the head. So I thought this was the best solution to have the whole kitty visible, and I do like the softer shape. Also, unfortunately, it is not sticky notes. I was considering doing sticky notes, but for some reason they're so much more expensive. I rather do more different designs than getting this as sticky notes. So it was also a little tricky to decide how light the design would be, because you want to be able to write on it without the design underneath disturbing, and you also want to be able to see the actual design. I think it works pretty well. And then we have this one, which might be my favorite, and you might remember in my last studio vlog that I showed you this, but as a bookmark. Here's the bookmark, and as you can see, I made the colors a little lighter for the notepad because I want the colored lines to be light enough to draw on too. Like so, you can even use the paw to draw in if you want to. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite. I love it. Then we have just a normal ruled notepad with this sleepy little plant kitty. So I want to make just a regular notepad in about the same style as one of my old ones, because this notepad is one of the more popular ones from my old batch. Also, I like to mention that all of these new notepads are 50 pages each, just the same as the old notepads, but you might notice that the new notepads may seem a little thinner than the old one. It is simply because the new ones got 80 grams paper while the old ones got 90 grams. I just felt that the 90 grams was a little too thick for a notepad, so I decided to go a little lighter, and it is still just as good to draw on. Then we have this one, the biggest one. For these ones I planned out the designs very carefully, but this I kind of just threw together. It was kind of like a last minute design because I wanted something a little bigger, want something with a lot of space for writing. So I took my fall nature washi tape design and I turned it into this border. I had to do a little bit of cut and paste in the corners to make it look smooth and seamless. But I think it turned out so cute. And also, as you may have noticed, instead of lines we have dots. And the reason why I decided to go with a dotted design instead of ruled is because I want you to be able to use it in any direction. If you want it to be horizontal or vertical, you could have just have skipped the dots altogether and just make it blank. But for me personally, I like to have some sort of guidelines to follow, and you can use it for bullet journaling, you can do your own weekly spreads. But yeah, I'm so happy with how these turned out. It is always a little nervous because I'm using a different manufacturer for these ones than for my old notepads, so I wasn't really sure exactly how they would turn out. Also, this print shop wanted a different format for the files, which I struggled a little with, but at the end it turned out all right. Super excited. Here they are with resin. Look how shiny and glittery they are. I'm currently doing the product photography. That is why they are arranged like this. It is amazing how the resin makes the color of the glitter and the sparkles pop even more. And here we have the galaxy ones, and here we also have these little kitties with some resin. To be honest, I'm not really sure how I feel about them, but they are pretty cute. So you might remember this guy, the Accordion sketchbook that I made last summer. Has it been a whole year already? But yeah, it is like one long continuous page, which makes it a very long artwork. And you guys have been asking for prints, and I've been thinking and thinking, how can I turn this into a print? Because it isn't the usual format. First I thought maybe I can have them printed on like vinyl banderoles, because those would be long enough but also big enough so that you can actually see the art. And I've been looking into it, so maybe that is something that I will do for the future. But for now I did something a little more simple. Yeah, it isn't the whole long painting, but I picked out the good part. So we have Kit, the Kitty Explorer, and I have to say now when comparing the prints to the actual artwork that the print colors are very true to the original art. So we have Kit starting his adventure, and we have the mushrooms, the crystal cave, and then Kit taking a rest for the night. And lastly, I also decided to include this one, the last part of the painting. I just thought since we started with one of the smaller prints, it would be nice to end it with a smaller print too. Also, the Cat Mountains is the final destination for Kit, our Kitty Explorer, so I just thought it would be nice to include that, even if the print itself isn't that exciting, to be honest. And let me tell you, there have been a lot of thinking back and forth how to make prints out of this artwork. My very first thought was to take each page or section and turn that into a print, like this part would be one print and then this part would be one print, one print, and so on, because then you would actually get the whole painting. It would just be split up into different sections. But to be honest, I don't think this would make a good print. And also it really bothers me that things would be cut up, like the mushrooms, and this cave opening here would be split into two, and this scene here that I really love would also be split into two. So I wasn't a big fan of that option, so then I just decided to take the good parts and turn those into prints instead. And also you can get all of these as a print set or bundle, but if you want to, you can also get them one by one. This one though, I don't think anyone want to buy by itself. It may not be the whole continuous art, but if you're one of those who really like this art, this is what I can offer for now. And also, by the way, I always sign my prints, but I was a little unsure how I wanted to sign these ones, because if you get the whole set and you want to display them, it seems a little repetitive having my signature on each print, since technically it is the same artwork. So if you get the whole print set, they will all be signed on the back, but if you get like a single print, they will be signed just as usual. And I might as well put together a couple of bundles so that they are ready. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it has been a couple of rough and stressful weeks, so let me give you a little update while I'm painting some cute kitties. This will be available in my store. If they aren't already, they will be soon. The reason I am making these paintings to sell is because owning a cat is expensive. As some of you may know already, Sally hasn't been feeling well. She is alright right now, thankfully. But the midsummer weekend, which was around June 20 to 23rd, she had these severe cold symptoms. Her nose and her eyes were just all clogged up with mucus, and she had trouble breathing through her nose. And cats can still technically breathe through their mouths, but it isn't very good if they're doing it for a longer time. And of course it was a holiday weekend, so all the veterinarian clinics were closed besides the emergency ones, but we did a video call with a veterinarian, which we could do through our insurance, which is great. She could take a look at Sally, and she gave us some directions how to clean Sally's nose and her eyes and give her nose drops to unclog her stuffy nose, so we could at least do something to make it a little better for Sally. But after the weekend and a couple of days of trying to rinse her eyes and nose and give her nose drops, Sally was still not better, so we made the decision to go to the animal emergency clinic because I was starting to get really worried. They examined her, they x-rayed her lungs and took a blood sample, and the blood sample is just the worst. I think that anyone who owns a cat knows how hard it is to hold a cat that doesn't want to be held. She was wrapped in a blanket like a burrito with a cone around her head. It was like wrestling a snake. She may be small, but oh, she is strong. Then finally, the blood and the x-ray show that she has pneumonia, which thankfully can be treated with antibiotics. We were so relieved. She was still sick and not feeling well, but at least it is treatable. When my cats get sick, I get sick. Before we even got the diagnosis, I was almost eaten up inside with worry, and even after we found out that it was only pneumonia, I was still worried. fluid. The first few days we didn't even know if she was responding to the antibiotics and when we should be able to breathe and eat like normal again. When she was sick, she wouldn't eat or drink by herself, probably because of her stuffed nose and that she had a hard time breathing, so I had to hand feed her with dry food pellets that's been soaking in water so that she would get some fluids too. And she's usually a huge food junkie. She loves food, so seeing her not eating by herself, it was just heartbreaking. She would still eat though when I was feeding her. She still had an appetite, so that was a good sign. She was very excited about medication time though. She got all her medicines mixed in with soft cheese 3 times a day, which she loved. Soft cheese is her all-time favorite. Then, after a couple of days, the medicines finally started to kick in and finally she started to feel better. When she ate almost a whole pack of wet cat food all by herself, I almost cried. I was so happy and relieved to see her eating again. It was like I could start breathing again too. I hadn't been able to work or do anything properly when Sally was ill. I just had to focus all on her, which made me fall a little behind on videos and shop stuff. So I got a lot of work now, but I am so grateful that she is better and that it wasn't anything too serious after all. So why am I making these little cat paintings to put up for sale? Well, it turned out that the insurance company didn't cover the veterinarian cost. Usually you only have to pay the deductible, I think it's called, which is around $180 to $200 in this case, and then the insurance will cover the rest. But they didn't. So all of a sudden, instead of paying around $200, we had to pay a 4-digit amount, which we had not expected. And I know that owning a pet is expensive, but when they get sick, you kind of rely on the insurance to cover the worst cost. We have paid for that insurance for over 10 years now, and we have never used it. And this is what we get. Nothing. We did call the insurance company to ask what was going on, and apparently since Sally had a bit of a runny nose when she was little before we got her insured, they won't cover anything that has anything to do with her respiratory tract, nose or eyes just because she had a runny nose. Though, after all, I do understand why the insurance company made this decision, but I'm still frustrated about it, and it left us in a bit of a financial predicament. And there's just been a lot of things going on lately, a turbulent time as I mentioned, and this was just the icing on the cake. But I'm trying to look ahead and still enjoy all the good and positive things that life offers too. We will do a lot of fun things this summer, so I'm trying to focus on that instead. So yeah, I'm putting these paintings up for sale to help paying for the veterinarian bill. I can't ask for money without giving anything in return, so I'm offering my art. Some of you have already helped by placing orders in my shop or making pledges on Patreon, and I'm so grateful for that. Thank you so much. And just so you know, my Patreons will have first dibs on these paintings, but the ones that left will be up for sale in my shop very soon. Yeah, anyway, that's my little update. So after we went to the vet, we left the transport carrier out because we will soon be going to the vet again, but for the vaccination shot. She is sleeping here all the time. Really sorry about this weird angle. I tried holding the camera, but my shoulder is complaining, so we're sitting on the floor. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick little outro and also say thank you to all of you that has bought anything from my shop. I truly appreciate the support. I always appreciate the support, but right now we need it a little extra, so thank you. Thank you. And if you can't buy anything, don't worry, just by watching my videos you are supporting me. And also if you want to, you can support me over at Patreon. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you and thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Keep drawing my happy cat. Bye!